glucose, malt and chocolate. All these good things go into Mars.
Come on, don't you give up the fight. Though the timing is tight, you've got a story to write. On Mars, one day, come to work, rest and play.
This is night time, of course, and these are the latest news headlines.
Prison officers at Wandsworth Jail vote this morning on a new peace formula to end their dispute and reduce the risk of nationwide action. The dispute has meant police having to help run the prison. A national conference of prison officers will also have to approve the new deal. The union said there were no winners in the agreement reached at the Home Office last night.
Make the point that we do not seek to claim this as a victory. Everyone has suffered, but however, we are happy with what we've been able to achieve tonight.
The government is to consider a voluntary scheme of identity cards. The plans will be outlined in the Commons on Friday by Home Office Minister John Patton. He says the initial cost of providing identity cards to all people over 12 would be £350 million. MPs will decide today whether to force Mrs Edwina Curry to give evidence to government investigators about the poisoned eggs row. She's appealed to the All-Party Agriculture Committee to be allowed to get on with her life. She's refused 3 times to answer their questions about her remarks on salmonella in eggs. But many MPs on the committee are determined that she should be made to speak up.
It is clearly a messy procedure. It would be very divisive. It would be unpleasant, personal. I don't think it's desirable. I rather hope we can resolve the matter without that.
But if necessary, you'll go for that?
Well, we certainly have to protect the right of select committees to interview those witnesses they wish to see.
The Soviet Union says it can't find a political solution to end the Afghan civil war after rebel leaders snubbed a meeting with Foreign Minister Edward Shevardnadze. Meanwhile, 30,000 Russian troops returning home over the Afghan border have received a hero's welcome. Their armoured personnel carriers poured into the Soviet state of Uzbekistan at the end of a 9-year campaign that's believed to have cost 30,000 Russian lives. A district health authority has sacked a hospital waste disposal company after it was reported to be dumping waste illegally instead of burning it because of a shortage of incinerators in London. The waste was collected from 6 hospitals in London and taken 200 miles to a tip at Rixton near Warrington. The waste included contaminated swabs, dressings and needles, including some from St Stephen's Hospital in London, Britain's biggest AIDS clinic. The Rixton site is not licensed for clinical waste. That's all for now. We'll be back at 5:02 for the morning news. Join us then.
A double bill of music in Tuesday's night time. At 1:30, The Chart Show is followed at 2:30 by America's Top 10. Now, the UK scene.
Hello, welcome to the programme. Now, in a new spirit of enterprise, we're introducing 1 or 2 more presenters into the proceedings. First off, it's definitely the long rather than the short of it. It's Pat Fish from the Jazz Butcher. Pat, we're handing over the entire programme to you. How do you feel about this newfound power? That wouldn't exactly make quote of the week, will it, this week? But no, Pat, we are going to give over the entire programme to you, so I think it's going to be a question of see you in court.
Something along those lines, Governor.
All right, well, our briefs are definitely showing, or will be later on. We'll start with We Are Going to Eat You, and it's over to Pat in just a moment.
Oh, you look so fine today. Hope you trust me all the way. 'Cause there's things to do I don't want to do. Now they tore my world apart. I don't know where to start explaining things, these bitter things, and these words I have to say. what hurt you, I can tell. There's confusion in your eyes, and it comes as no surprise. Don't you know about these things? Can't you understand? But it's love we're after, and your heart is in my hand. I have fretted, I have tried to find a compromise. It's a maze we're in, no easy thing to break our lives into, to break this news to you, like the broken me, wish I'd never been. And these words I have to say will hurt you, I can tell. There's confusion in your eyes, and it comes as no surprise. Don't you know about these things? Can't you understand? It's love we're after.
They're going to eat you. That's a record called Heart in Hand. Well, rock and roll television, what have we got for you this evening? We've got a featured album from Ciccone Youth. We've got interviews with the Darling Buds. We've got an interview with the Wolfgang Press, and we'll be talking to Pierce Turner. We've got a feature on that venerable London institution, the Marquee, and we'll be telling you the latest about the video from that petrol emotion. Right now, it's your Best of British, New Order. New Order already. Well, tonight's featured album comes from Ciccone Youth. It's stuffed full of cover versions. This is one of them, Addicted to Love.
But you're not home. Your mind is not your own. Your heart sweats, your body shakes. Another kiss is what it takes. You can't sleep, you can't eat. There's no doubt you're in deep. Your throat is tight, you can't breathe. Another kiss is all you need. You're addicted to love. Your teeth grind, another kiss
also got a new single out at the moment called Kansas, and I spoke to Mick and Mark from the band to find out what exactly people thought of them.
Sometimes people think we're going to be really serious and sort of like, you know, sit about with long faces a bit or whatever, and, you know, they don't realise that we've sort of got... We feel there's quite a sense of humour in some of the things we do, sort of visually, musically, and a lot of people miss that altogether, you know. So when we meet them, they think we're going to be, you know, all atmospheric and whatever. But
like Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
But no, I like Benny Hill. Yeah.
People get all kinds of wrong ideas, and at the end of the day, it's their problem for not finding out what really is something, you know.
So do you feel really, in a way, that you're sort of tragically underrated?
Yeah. I think what we do is a lot better than 95% of contemporary music makers. What we're doing is better than that. And
we're offering a lot more, yeah, certainly. But, and you can't say any more than that, really. I mean, it's yeah, of course we want to be sort of a lot more known, you know, more well known. But you know, I think, you know, it will come eventually.
Do you ever feel, though, in a way that you're sort of stuck in a vacuum, sort of musically? You know, you're being sucked into the sort of bands that might not get so well known, or whatever, and doing stuff for your art rather than for the whole commercialism of it all?
No. I don't think we can ever be stuck in a vacuum. We're always changing.
All we've ever done is just is the things, you know, is the things that we sort of believe in doing, and the things that just come out next. We never analyse what it is or what we think people are going to think about it. We're not really that clever, you know. We just do what comes out, and that's all we can do, and be honest about it, you know. And people either like it or they don't. We can't really sort of, you know, break into tears or whatever if they don't. It's their problem, really, you know.
How do you feel that you go down in Britain? I mean, you seem to feel that you've got more respect abroad.
Not so much respect, I just feel that people, like I said earlier, you know, here people aren't given the opportunity to really hear or know of us. You know, the people in power or the people who have that power aren't really interested in what we're doing, you know, you know.
The most enjoyable times, I suppose, are when people, you know, there's kind of some tangible reaction to what's going on, you know. You know, and everybody reaches a joint high, you know. Sorry about that. But, you know, so it's kind of better situation all round, but you can't go about expecting people to do that, you know. They have to do that if they want.
Do you see yourselves at all as, I mean, to me, you come across as being quite cynical. Do you think you're quite a cynical band, or just like cynical people?
I don't think I'm cynical.
Oh, I do.
No, I've got a lot of high hopes.
So do you think that the Wolfgang Press have realised their full potential, or are you still sort of striving for it?
No, nowhere near.
We're sort of striving, but we're sort of, you know, we're heading for a peak, I think. I think that we're getting bits, you know, stronger, sort of thing. Don't know why, but we are.
If you're an employer, help train the workers without jobs to do the jobs without workers.
Double mint gum has twice the natural mint for fresher breath.
So kiss a little longer, hold tight a little longer, be close a little longer. With double mint, that double mint freshness lasts right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on. While you chew it, say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with double mint.
If you're watching TV without a license, we'll find you wherever you are.
The Brown family strikes out from base camp, hotly pursued by the Schmidts. The Browns successfully negotiate the difficult souvenir stall, pausing only to collect some rock. Oh dear, hunger halts them halfway out. Yes. Fortunately, supplies are at hand. The delicious pot noodle range.
Oh, yum.
The Schmidts can taste victory, but the Browns are away once more. They finally arrive at the top, to stand where only a few thousand have stood before.
Good evening. New Cadbury Spiral will have your tongue in a twist.
Yo, ho, ho, and a rattle of thumb.
2 twists of Cadbury's chocolate.
The thick plottons, Watson.
It has a clean, crisp taste.
My neighbor, Lord Omelette.
So you can enjoy Cadbury's Spiral wherever you are.
Scheme us up, Barty!
Don't talk straight, chocolate. Get your ting in a twast.
Imperial leather, one of life's little luxuries.
There go the Sundays, a band you'll be hearing more of shortly, I'll wager. Their song Can't Be Sure. Well, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Marquee Club down in London, formerly of groovy Wardour Street in Soho, currently in the Charing Cross Road. We spoke to a couple of people who'd played there. We spoke to all about Eve and Mary from Gaye Bykers On Acid, see what memories they had of the place.
Well, we played at the old Marquee, and that was a very, very sweaty affair. We did a kind of secret gig supporting the mission. And in fact, all we've done is secret gigs here. We played in the new Marquee, and that was also a secret gig as a warm-up. And we did it under the name of Martha and the Harbours, which was a dead giveaway because our hit single had been Martha's Harbour. So it was a pathetic secret gig, but a great atmosphere. Really good atmosphere.
Why do you think the Marquee's lasted so long and been so successful, Mark?
I don't know, just the atmosphere, probably. You know, it's a very sort of famous name. It's everywhere you go around the world, everybody knows the name of the Marquee. You know, and I think when they get there, they see the size of the place, and I think, oh, what's all this about? But when you're actually at a gig, it's the atmosphere there is just brilliant. You know, really, when it's packed, that is. If it's empty, it's not so good.
You are an ocean wave, my love, crashing at the bow. I am a galley slave for a love. If only I could find out the way to sail you.
Most of the bands who seem to play here seem to be rock and roll, which we're not, but it was still an ambition. You know, when you're growing up, you see photos of other bands in the press. They've always got that Marquee logo behind them, and so it seemed like a pretty happening thing to do. And also, it's so... it's stripped right down to the bare bones. You can do a great show here without a massive light show and without dry ice. It's really back to your roots when you play it.
They used to have lots of graffiti in the back.
There was a lot of wind on stage.
There's a lot.
They have like a smoke machine.
Yeah.
And it blows wind over you and you can't see anything.
It's very windy and very smoky. Very windy and smoky.
Was it always an ambition of yours to play the Marquee?
No, never. No. Never. We wanted to play Hammersmith Odeon and Wembley Arena, and
exactly.
Marquee was like a stepping stone, and now you won't use that for sure.
Well, being from America, the Marquee was the club that gave you the image of England. It's what made my sister and I want to play. We wanted to play the Marquee. It was the ultimate club to us. We didn't realize that it was very small and a bit of a dive, which is part of the charm. But I just remember thinking the Pretenders started there, Iggy Pop played there, the Stones, the Who, T-Rex, everybody else. So it was very much a part of the London image that we had.
Were you disappointed with it?
No, no way. Because I was just ready to love it no matter what it looked like. And I saw, who did I see? I saw Lone Justice, an American band, but just the idea of the club, it overruled whether it could have been looked like anything. It was still brilliant to me.
Why do you think it's lasted so long and it's so established?
Because I think that it doesn't rely on atmosphere or expensive drinks or fancy surroundings. It's just they get the good bands. Because of its legend, everybody wants to play there, just because of the acts that have played there before.
We had some celebs. We had some
celebrities in the audience.
But it was okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, we had a good time.
We got by.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Marquee's lasted so long and been so popular?
Because they keep giving out free drinks if you turn up.
I think it's just sort of the name. I mean, you know, it could have been anywhere. I mean, you know, there could have been a pub just next to mine, but so-and-so has played there, so it just keeps on, you know, building up like a pyramid effect, you know. Oh, so-and-so's played there, it must be good, so we'll just play there, you know, so it's, you know, it's sort of, you know, I think that's probably why it's done so well. I don't know, it could have been anywhere, really.
It's a real greasy hole if you look at it.
I played with Zodiac down here. Not this one, actually. In fact, it was a different place, it was just down the road. But this is the Marquee. I have fond memories of Marquee, yeah, because they always let me in for free. That's my fondest memory, because I've played here. And, yeah.
Was it always somewhere you wanted to play? I mean, as a kid?
I did my 7th ever gig at the Marquee. Can you imagine being in a band and doing your 7th ever gig at the Marquee? It was like, it was something special, and I suppose it still probably is. Thank you. Everything's groovy, baby. Everything's groovy, baby, now. Tomorrow's my groovy. Tomorrow's my groovy. Everything's groovy, baby. Everything's groovy, baby, now. Tomorrow's my groovy. Tomorrow's my
of life is such a tangled web to weave. Every happiness, another dream would never leave. We were bent down and up and down, like a bird high in a tree. Oh, was it good to love it? Don't just get that high in a tree and now everything's groovy, baby. Everything's groovy, baby, now. 10 miles high, groovy. 10 miles high, groovy. Everything's groovy, baby.
Gaye Bykers On Acid there. We'll be showing their new video in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, the Darling Buds have just finished their first national tour as a major record company band. Simon Potter went to see them at the Town and Country to see what changes they'd noticed in their new job.
Not really. It's more of these sort of things to do, of course, like more interviews and life's more or less the same, really, because we're touring just as much as we were last time. So it's not really that much of a difference. Yeah. I get less and less time to spend at home and to see the family now. But
nothing's changed. Nothing's changed really. But you've said that you're determined to stay a touring band. Is that right, Harley?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, it's all part of it, and it's the best bit of it, sort of playing live and see, especially if you've got your fans all sort of
following you and you meet them, and that's how we built
thing.
up in the first place. That's how we want to keep going, rather than think, oh, we've got this far now, just forget about the following, we just may as well get out records. We really want to carry on touring, That's what all the fun is for us.
All sorts of pressures begin to bear down on you, though, as soon as you start getting successful, Andrea. I mean, one of the attractions for me of the Darling Buds is the fact that your sound is flawed to some extent.
Yeah.
I dare say there are people that would want to make you a lot more perfect, for a more mainstream market.
A lot of people have sort of mentioned this, and of course the band know all about that. But I mean, that's what pop music is about. It's not, it's about being a different sound. It's not about being perfect. I mean, you've got bands in the charts for that, and that's what we like about ourselves. We're quite live, especially when we're live. The mistake's there to be seen, and it still must appeal to a lot of people because we've sold out the Town and Country Club tonight. So people do like that sort of thing about us. I think we're not perfect, but there's a lot of fun there. I mean. I remember my mum listening to one of our live tracks and she went, oh, it's not like the record, is it? And I went, no. And she went, never mind, love, the Beatles weren't perfect live. She goes like this, and...
All our songs are disposable anyway, just sort of 3-minute pop songs and that's it. And we just sort of go in the studio, record them. And we try and keep it as much the same, but live, of course, you can't, And it's more enjoyable live, actually, I think.
Yeah, we don't go in the studio and work out proper speeds and what the tempo's going to be for it's easy listening to. We just go in there and do it for us, and do it as how the song should be. We don't have any producer that works out drum styles to make things sound nice for the ears or anything. It's all, so maybe on record as well there are things there that are just wrong, that are different, but music isn't meant to be, there isn't a right or wrong in music, is there?
What's all this about a certain part of your body growing in size once you'd signed to a major label?
Well, I thought it would, it's like, but it hasn't.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, it hasn't grown a millimetre more than it's... No, when you're 18 or that and you say, or 21, you wake up with a hairy chest or whatever, well, I didn't, and people were sort of saying, don't worry, everything will be all right, but it just hasn't. I'm very embarrassed about that part of my anatomy. I just wish it was a lot bigger.
Still coming out with the same old tired excuses, you?
Well, rock and roll is sort of, all meant to be sort of like, swing and all this,
Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
But
I haven't got the sexual bits to sort of rock and roll with,
It's all sexist remarks, and the drugs are all the Beechams and the paracetamols we have to take to get rid of flu all the time on tour. And then the rock and roll is just doing it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.